Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the TTS Surgery. Let's go! Alright, so it's a brand new season. We've got Rima, we've got Adnan, and we've got Bola in the building. Let's go! So, Rima, what we've been doing actually is getting to know some of our panel, our members, the people in the teacher surgery. Cool. Rima, tell us about yourself as a professional and your relationship with education.
Right. Well, so I'm an English teacher, first and foremost, but I'm Key Stage 4 coordinator in my current school. So that means I'm in charge of GCSEs.
Okay, nice.
And I have been teaching for, I shouldn't really say, should I? Because then I'll let on to
Yeah,
like how they,
yeah.
I'll leave it as a mystery. Yeah, that's what we
You
do.
look young, don't worry.
Thank you. Well, you always got my back.
All right, so again, remember, teacher surgery, we got real teachers, people that are in the field of education. We sit here and we want to actually talk about social and things that happen in our communities and in the classroom, and we get real views from professionals, right? This is what we do at the teacher surgery. So I just like to remind people of that. Now, today's question is something that does get overlooked, right? It's a little bit of a cliche, but it's important, right? So we're going to talk about bullying and how it impacts and the impact of words, right? And then there's actually been a study on that says that by the Anti-Bullying Alliance, it says that 23% of children surveyed in England reported experiencing frequent face-to-face bullying, right? And it was specific about face-to-face bullying as well, because we're going to talk about online, social media and stuff like that, right? 18% of children aged 10 to 15 had experienced in-person bullying, and 22% of children experienced online bullying said that this emotionally affected them a lot. So, right, we're talking about bullying. Do you see it? Do you observe it? And how does it impact the children? And where do you fit in as teachers with that?
Those percentages are really low. Or is it just me? It seems, was that like a nationwide sort of?
I mean, it did show that, I did feel like it was low.
Yeah.
But I think if you had a case of anything 50% or over, that's just to put it, that means half of the population is being bullied.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember a lot of the times we're talking about the marginalized groups of people, right? So it is low, but you're showing about people that are often there's something about them that makes them marginalized or easy prey.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I think what would be interesting to see is, has that statistic increased or decreased a decade ago?
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because, of course, back in my days, there was no social media, there was no, there's only a phone. So, if people were to get bullied, it'd be between that school period, 9 to 3. Whereas now, you've got social media, access to social media, people, bullying can extend that bit longer throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see, has that statistic increased? Because, people have access to online access, so they could potentially get bullied for a longer period of time.
Okay.
From my knowledge, I think it's increased with the gaming issue. In my school, bullying during
When you say gaming, you mean like Xbox, PlayStation?
Xbox, or you know what the kids do now, roadblocks, all those things. The bullying percentage has increased, like from what I know in my school, that is always the case, where we're having to call parents in because of stuff like that. As the parents start attacking each other, it's not just the kids, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay. Go on.
No, I was just going to say that in terms of like in-person bullying, it's quite interesting. The reason why the percentages are kind of sort of sticking in my head, I think there's a lot of children that might not even realise that they're being bullied. Then I don't know, that kind of then brings about questions about what is now deemed as acceptable or what's sort of being swept under the carpet. Because a lot of children will just take it as
Banter.
Banter, that's the word, right? Banter. And they're not realizing, or what we're not understanding, is the long-lasting impact it has. So you're here, you are in your 30s, and you're insecure about one thing or the other, but you're not making a link that it stems back from when you were in school and when something about you was always being brought up, and in the name of banter. So I'm not sure.
So let me ask something about my generation, right? And I would ask, okay, look, are these kids? Are they, what do they call, snowflakes now, right?
What's a snowflake?
Well, yeah,
where they're just easily like
mollycoddled,
sensitive
okay.
and mollycoddled.
Right.
Where it's just banter. Stop being sensitive. Is that a case of that, or is it a case of actually in the past we come from very like traumatic schooling experiences that we normalized, and actually we shouldn't be having these kind of like banter at all in schools. Like, we draw the line.
I think even now, like, you can say, our kids going through traumatic experiences now, and touching that point that I raise is that online access, even outside schooling times, there's online bullying going on. So now that's adding to the factor of in-school bullying. Now you've got online bullying, to add to that further concept of bullying. So I think there's a whole new concept of traumatic experiences for this new generation that we had an experience, and it's something that we also now need to consider, because it's to have a huge negative impact on this generation going forward.
Yeah.
And it's also about, like, my young daughter, for example. She does the gaming on her iPad sometimes with her friends after school. And one day I overheard a child telling her, "Shut up, you're so dumb." And I said to her, "Get off that thing right now," because to me, that's
How old is
bullying.
she? How old is she?
My child is seven. Do
Okay.
you understand? But that's because I happen to be there to hear it. So imagine when I'm not there, what is going on. I'm not saying my child
are
is
you
a
not
saint, but
are you not giving her the opportunity, right, to nurture immunity from that environment? If you pull her away from that, and that's actually what that is the environment, whether we like it or not, where that we're moving into an online world. These kids, from as long as I've known, from our generation, the generations before that, whether it's social media, the playground, or in the classroom, kids have always been mean.
100%.
So
But
is
I
there a way?
pulled
Is
her
there a
away
thing where
from it.
we need to just are we gonna change that? What seems like a natural thing? These children are mean, and are we gonna change? Is that even possible to change, or are we just gonna try and adapt children to exist in that environment?
No, I think it's possible to change here and there. Like, it all stems from home, doesn't it? Like, I pulled her away from the situation. She turned me off, and I spoke to her that don't allow people to speak to you like that. Neither do you speak to people like that. You understand? So I'm
Exactly that.
teaching her this from home, expecting her to grow in that way.
Okay.
But I was a parent who happened to be there to hear that. What if I wasn't there and a child was constantly saying that to her? She will now normalize that and think it's normal to speak to people like that, and that's why we're having this continuous problem.
You see
know?
you see what it is. Like, apologies in advance, right? I'm not a parent, but I'm significantly older than my younger brother, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Abs, yeah. Now, I remember specifically, like, grooming him for secondary. He went to the same secondary school as me, right? And anyone knows my school, right? You have to be sharp with your words, right?
Yeah.
So from primary school, I'm saying little, but I'm young I'm still young, So when he's 11, I'm a big man still. Tell you what, I'm still grooming him for that, right? So I'm like, doing cussing matches with him, making him sharp, like, the whole back and forth.
Yeah.
Just so that when he goes there,
He's ready.
he's ready. So when people start doing
But
you're
I'm
gonna
cut you there,
Yeah, go ahead.
Desmond. The issue now is when you're in school, I might say to Rima, "Shut up, Rima, man." The teacher didn't see me. But if Rima comes back and like, "No, you shut up," the teacher will see Rima.
Yeah.
Then Rima has the correction or the detention or whatever,
Yeah.
SLT, whatever. And I've got away with it because the teacher didn't catch me. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? So yes, I do agree it is good to stick up for yourself, because I teach my kids that. But at the same time, you have to kind of teach them, listen, it's not right to talk to people like that. You get what I mean? If someone hit my daughter, I would tell her hit them back. That's fair. But if someone uses bad words like F words and stuff, I would never tell her say that back. Because I don't want her to grow in that way.
Do you know why I'm challenging it, right? And we're gonna wrap up. The reason why I don't hear it, right, is we say, oh, bullying. We teach children, keep, don't be nice, be whatever. But you finish secondary school, you finish primary school, you're just surrounded by mean people. And then you go to the workforce, you go out, you have a driving incident out on a car road, somebody, the world is mean. Like, there's bullies at work, there's bullies in your neighborhood, there's bullies your next door neighbor, things like that. So are we actually hindering children from not adapting to that, or are we just saying, are we protecting them from things that actually are going to happen
when they
school
grow up?
is to prepare them for the real world?
And I think
So are we affecting them by providing a completely sensitive
The importance of preparing the young kids is to develop the skills to respectfully challenge and not
That's
disrespectfully
it. Yeah,
challenge.
Okay.
And I think
it.
that's the most important part:
it.
is how do you respectfully challenge a bully?
Okay, all right. Listen, again, we're gonna have to wrap up. We're running out of time anyway. But
Yeah.
listen, that concludes another episode of the Teacher's Surgery. Yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, follow, all of that good stuff. All right. Until next time, take care.
That was a good.
Everyone.